Hi guys, Ronda without an H here. Okay, as you can see, I have a few stamps. I have been keeping my stamps in this tin labeled stamps, and wow. I still have some sheets, a couple of sheets. I've got Shirley Temple and Wonder Woman in there. But I'm finding it very difficult to use them because I've separated them into colors, kind of, sort of, or themes, or I don't know. And then I get more, you know, and it's chaotic. And right now, I'm having this thing with, I've got to clean up my space to create. I've got to be more organized so that I can spend less time hunting and more time doing. Can any of you relate to that? By the way, good morning. I hope you're having a great day so far. I have a lot on my plate. I still, for those of you that are following my retro kitchen journal, I have not forgotten that. I have things out, but I reached a point where I have to take a little bit of a break from that, and I've got to do some organizing because it's just driving me nuts, you guys. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. And I'm actually trying to speak a little bit quieter right now because my hubby is still asleep. And our house, I've got the door closed to my studio, but where there's nothing going on. And he's out in his chair, his recliner. Sometimes he'll get up early in the morning and he'll go sit in his recliner if he's got aches and pains, and he'll fall asleep. And I don't want to disturb him. But, okay, so this is my thought. I want to clear this all up. It may take me a minute. Or 4,500 million minutes. I don't know. But I want to get better organized. Now, for the moment, I'm going to just slip these off to this side, and I want to show you what I have started to work on. So I sat down and I popped on YouTube and I watched several videos on organizing from several different people, and I came across some good ideas and some that were just kind of not me, but I'm trying to think of her name. If I find it, I'll put it in the link below. That I did kind of like hers, and I've sort of adapted it to me. Okay, so what I've got here, let me grab, I wasn't going to do this just yet, but, okay. So these are papers. I had a ream of this amazing paper, school, you know, the old school paper, and it's all aged wonderfully, and I use it periodically, but I had quite a bit of it. And I liked it for the lines, so I could have guidelines for sewing, creating what I want in my pockets for organizing. So that folded in half is basically my inside. And then, let's see. I have these heavyweight sheet protectors that I used for doing that's my mother, isn't she beautiful? I love you, Mom. For a project, I copied a a book of my mother's that she did when she was in her 20s and gave it to her family. And it's about her family history, her parents. And I got that book when my sister passed. And I just made a copy recently for my brother so he could have it as well. Okay, so this is what basically I have been doing. And I had these on hand. And I didn't want to organize the big book, you know, like a regular binder size, at least not to begin with. I wanted to start with something more reasonable for me. So what I'm doing is I measured, and if I fold this basically in half, you saw that I did cut out a tiny piece, because I found that if I cut out just a teeny bit, then I can work this really well, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay, so I just smooth this in here. I get it in here, and then what I do is I take it to my sewing machine and I stitch on the very edge, not even 1/8 of an inch in, probably about 1/16 of an inch in, all the way down. And this is the top. And keeping in mind, sometimes I've gotten them mixed up, the top and the bottom, and I've had to switch it around. But the intent is to do this on top, and then I stitch another line that's just about 1/8 of an inch in on just the file or the plastic folder, and then another page folded like this will fit very nicely in that. Okay, and keeping in mind I'm going to also trim just a smidgen off. And then pretend that I have created, I've stitched my line, see? You see what that by taking that little tiny bit off both, you see, then I have two perfect, I stitch down here, just a smidgen, then I stitch another line about right where this is, and then I put the paper in. Well, after I stitch my second line, then I will come here and I will cut between the two lines. And I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch. I'm not even going to turn that off. I'm going to visit with you while I stitch. And I'm using a larger stitch. Right now I'm doing a 2.8. I'll bring it back and show you. I know there's a bit of a glare. I apologize for the glare with the page protector, and it is earlier in the morning here. It's just 7 o'clock. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch another line, and then I'll show you how I cut it in between, and you will be able to do your own. I mean, this is just, I didn't see this on any of the videos, but I had these page protectors and I didn't want to waste them. I wanted to see if there was a way that I could make it work. Okay, can you see that second? All right, now what I'm going to do, first of all, I will just cut off those edges. And now I'm going to very carefully, let's see if I can bring you in on this. You're not going to see the whole thing, but see, I'm putting my ruler just, I mean, it's just barely, right? And I'm going to go ahead and cut. And now you can see that I have that ready to go. All right. I'll set that aside for the moment. And now I'm going to open this pocket up. By doing that, I'm going to trim this completely off. Okay, now I have a pocket that looks like this. And these are actually heavy. It's a heavyweight page protector on these, and this is double, so it's actually quite sturdy. I like it. Now, let me show you. We'll slip this one in again, now that we've got it prepared. And this is just, I mean, this is actually very fun. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch down my edge here. And I'll be back. So, I mean, this is just, this, you guys, is not a, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do that. It is not one of those kind of projects. And for those of you that don't really like to sew or don't have a sewing machine, don't have that available to you, I'm not sure on the pocket might be a little bit tricky, the individual pocket, but you could definitely use clear tape, you know, and you could cut these. You could get this size very easily by using clear tape to close it. I'm just not 100% sure on how you get the smaller pocket sizes without the stitching. Okay, I digress. So now we'll open this one up. Okay, so we have two pockets here ready to go. Now I want to show you what I have done so you can see. Okay, let's bring this in again. So you can see individually what I have done. I've created a whole bunch of little slots. And these are going to be for stamps. And if you turn it over, you see, double-sided. And the reason that I'm enjoying using this lined is I use my lines as a guide. Okay? And now I want to show you one that I have organized some of my stamps already. Isn't this fun? Look, guys. I don't know. Which do you think looks best? Oh, well, that's a hard one, Rhonda. Okay, now let me show you just another little something. And then I'm going to call this good for this particular video. These, I just created two pockets. This is Tim Holtz. He is, let's see if I can't take that out any further. These are some of his die cuts. And you can see that I just did a half pocket size here. And again, I apologize for the glare, you guys. It's earlier in the morning and working with plastic page protectors, you kind of have that tendency to get that. And then we go into some butterflies. Now this book's not really been organized. I actually started with these, and then I moved on to this, my quotes and different things, and these are in thirds. And then I did some smaller pockets, and they still went across. And it wasn't until I had a little bit of an accident with these. Some I flopped the notebook down, and some flew out, kind of, that are in the top. And I paper clipped it in, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm also going to, I know it's going to be a pain, but I think I'm also going to do a stitch like I did here, because that also holds it tighter. The looser the pages are, the more it will have a tendency to flop out, which is why I have paper clipped those, right together. And another thing that to keep in mind as you're making your pockets and whatnot, if your pockets, like for instance, these are a little bit deeper for this, so chances are these aren't going to fall out. Whereas some of these that are extending beyond my plastic page protector, they will have more of a tendency to come out than others. But still, this is so much better than what I had that I'm really liking it. And then here we go on the stamps. Some of these are obviously, they're just, they're copies of stamped images and things that I have made that I use in my art. And some are real, but here they are organized in the pockets, and this is taking me a while, you guys. Seriously, I'm just like, woo! But it's really an enjoyable, I'm really enjoying this. Now, there's one more thing that I just want to show you, and I'll come back, not immediately, but I'll come back after I've done some more organizing and whatnot and show you finished products. But I do want to show you how to, when you have stitched, how you create the pockets, because you have to, you've got plastic, but it's enclosed. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and stitch just a couple of lines so I can create a pocket for you and let you watch that process. I just want to give you a little bit of a process on that. And it's not difficult. You just have to, pay attention to what you're doing. And if you do that, you should be just fine. And of course, you can adjust, you can do any size. And if you prefer to have yours the whole, the larger size of binder, a regular notebook paper type binder, that's great, Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so now I have, this is ready to go, but this is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some sharp-tipped scissors. They need to have a good point on them, okay? And I'm going to, just underneath this stitching, I'm going to just come in here with my needle, or my needle, with my scissors. I don't want to break the paper, so I'm just being careful. And this takes a minute. And it takes longer when you're trying to do a video of it. So you're like, oh no, you gotta be really careful because they'll see you're messing up. And then I just go ahead underneath that line. Okay. And now I have a pocket here. And you continue however many pockets, you're going to do. That's how you do them. Make sure you don't cut before that line. I did that on one, and then I had to turn the whole thing upside down, and the top was the bottom and the bottom was the top, because obviously you're creating a belly band if you do it that way. So I hope this is giving you guys a little bit of inspiration, and let's do a little bit of organizing. If it's not your thing, that's okay. But for me, I'm enjoying, what really got me going on this is I had all these quotes for cooking that is, as I'm working on my retro kitchen journal, and I could not find them. I couldn't remember where I put them. So I went in and I went to the effort of creating a whole nother sheet that I could, go ahead and copy the words and quotes from chefs and whatnot, and spent, I don't know, probably a good almost an hour just doing that. And then when I came to start organizing, lo and behold, voila, all the quotes, everything was just like right there. So I hope that this will give you some ideas, and it's been fun to be with you this morning. Stay safe, be happy, enjoy your life. It's your life, and it's the only one you're going to get, at least for this life. All right, until next video, have a fabulous day. Bye now.